guys, here we have Castellan Crowe. He is basically the chief purifier of the Grey Knight army, and the purifiers are the really holy dudes. They're the ones that should be wandering around in robes, praying all day. They're the ones that think all the other Grey Knights are a bit iffy. They may just be about to turn over to the dark side, or whatever it is you do in the fluff. I don't know, because I know nothing about that. But he is basically here because he allows you to have purifiers as troops. You have Drago that allows you to have paladins as troops that are just too expensive, but purifiers as troops, yes, so much better value. This dude's coming in at 150 points, and to make purifiers troops, you may say that's quite cheap. He has weapon skill 8, BS 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 6. Is that special attacks that the Brotherhood champion has, where he can go all defensive, or he can do D3 plus 1 when he charges. So his attacks isn't great. He's mainly here to get you purifiers as troops. And we'll get his box open. He has the psychic powers of Cleansing Flame, which is a range 12, large blast, strength 5 with no AP. Boom. Psychic power is Heroic Sacrifice, which I'll get onto, and his Hammer Hand. But we'll look at what we get in our box. Here we have young or old Castellan himself. Not a bad looking piece of kit. Not that much flashing on it. I can see little bits, but it all seems to be around the edges where you're not going to really be an issue to it. For a one-piece body, it looks alright, guys. It's not breathtaking by any means, but it looks okay. Basically, you only get 2 bits of metal in this. Here we have then his sword and his Stormbolter. This is the Blade of Antwer. This blade is so evil. I'll finish this off first. And here we have his backpack and his banner. These banners seem to be standard issue with guys that allow troops. But this, the Blade of Antwer, is a demon sort of blade that he's got that's so evil it can't be stored anywhere, because it will turn the guards of the vault to chaos. You can't send it out, you can't shoot it out into space, because chaotic forces will only find this blade, and it being so evil, it's just almighty. In game terms for Castellan, it basically does nothing for him. Does nothing for him except hurt him. If he's carrying this blade, and the rule says him and any unit that are assaulted, you get the Furious Charge special rule. Not Castellan, his unit, the enemy get Furious Charge special rule. It is initiative 6, and you'll say, well, it's not going to matter hugely. +1 strength still matters. If you're fighting Gene Stealers or something like that there, it is going to matter hugely. It is. And obviously, here's his base, which I'm sure you all love me showing you these bases. This is in Artificer armor, so he is in a small base. He can get into a Rhino, but he's not an independent character, so he can't join any of his purifiers. I presume it's because this blade, this sort of bent looking blade, is so evil that he's not allowed to join the purifiers. Even the bog standard purifier might go evil because of this blade. He has rending. This is down to his sword mastery skills, nothing to do with the blade. He has rending on a 4+. So it is basically a better power weapon, because unless he's fighting something that he's needing a 3 to wound, if he's fighting regular stat marine guys, 4 to wound becomes rending, becomes a power weapon. If he's fighting a vehicle, he can use Hammer Hand. He takes up to strength 5, and then maybe get that rending. So he has a chance of taking out some of the average vehicles. They'll never take out a Land Raider with this here. 4 + 6 + 3. It's not going to work. Unless he uses Hammer Hand, he has a very, very slight chance of doing some damage to a Land Raider. But all in all, the model itself, we'll see if I can actually line this up in the camera, the 3 pieces. All in all, the model itself doesn't looks alright, looks pretty easy to put together. Have they maybe simplified these metal models a little bit? It could be now. It could be. It doesn't look as complex as some of the older stuff, but I'll get on and I'll see if Chief Purifier Castellan Crowe goes together as easy as what it looks like, and I'll see you in the second half of this video, guys. Guys, this is Castellan Crowe built. It goes together easily enough. You basically have the blade of Antoire at the front to stick on, and his backpack. The blades, sort of the hands and the bolter are all built in. All goes together easy enough. It does. There's no great issue to him. Fits easily enough on his base. Filed him a wee bit, cut the flashing off him, and he's gone. Game-wise for Castellan, getting them purifiers as troops, whenever you look in the purifier chart, by the time they add on the extra things, the halberds and whatnot, that the regular troopers are paying 5 points for, and they're paying 2, and they're getting 2 special weapons, I think, for every 5. They become great value. Having this guy, to make them troops, he's only 150 points, fine. But there is huge issues with him. He has 3 psychic powers: Hammer Hand, Cleansing Flame, and then the old Brotherhood champions get Heroic Sacrifice. The problem is, if you're running them into a combat and you're thinking, I have a chance of winning this combat, you're going to use one of your psychic powers. You're going to use Cleansing Flame or something, or Hammer Hand to make you stronger, to give you a better chance in the combat. And that's fine. But the thing is, if you do that and he dies in the combat, you can't then do a Heroic Sacrifice, because he's used his psychic power for that turn. I don't see anywhere for any of the Brotherhood champions. It says Heroic Sacrifice, a psychic power, and if you're a level 1 psyker and you've used your psychic power, then that's it. Heroic Sacrifice is pointless. The only way I can, pointless, and now I'm justifying it, the only way I can see it being used is if you run him in on a suicide mission. Especially this guy, he's not an independent character. You have to run him in on a suicide mission, get yourself in base contact with some of the big cheesy characters, and once you die in the combat, obviously, especially him, non-independent, you've got that chance to do the Heroic Sacrifice. Hitting somebody on a 3 with a reroll 85-90% of the time, yeah, you have that chance. But then again, whenever you really need it to work, will it work? This guy himself walking across the board by himself, are you going to give him a Rhino or a Razorback to get him across the board? Do you have a chance of doing this? Nah, I ain't. Anyway, he'll end up hiding on my side of the board. He'll end up stuck in behind some line of sight blocking piece of terrain so that he doesn't die in them kill points missions, or he'll end up standing beside your objective to try and keep it for you. No point giving him a vehicle. Waste, really. 150 points. If you take him, you hide him, you hope you stick him. The only tip I can give you for him, guys, is you stick him inside a really big, tall, blocking bit of terrain, and you never move him, and you hope that your opponent completely forgets about him till the end of the game. And while your opponent's busy forgetting about him, you have all the purifiers to do all your good stuff in Razorback army list. I would say it's great. It's the way I would have to play this. But Crowe himself, almost useless, guys. Almost. You know, he's not got bad stats. Weapon skill 8, BS 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 6. And he's got that special star attack for the Brotherhood champion, which some of them are defensive. Stand there and get sword parry or some things like that. Why run into combat or be in combat? Do you want to not fight? Especially if you've got the blade of Antoire that's meant to be so evil. Why is this blade not got like the Catan phase sword rules that everybody hits is just dead? Dead, or at least wounds with no saves whatsoever. What is so good about this blade? Why is it so vicious? Stick some comments in below. If you can find any use for the blade, stick some comments in below. Because it's definitely not a combat weapon. Maybe it's just evil because it's the bog blade of death where it's been left in the bog. Roll of demons, go for a Barry White. I don't know. Personally, for me, still they should have did Mordrak. He's my man, and he always will be. This guy has basically purifiers are his big advantage. The rest of his stuff is dull, pointless. Can I criticize him any longer? Do you want another 5 minutes of this? I don't know, guys. I think I should go. If you want 5 more minutes of him criticizing him, wind it back to the start of the video, and I'll get on to see if I can find somebody useful.